All right, guys, welcome to the Next Level Live. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate it. We are off and running into the new year. Very excited about. See a lot of emails. We're doing a lot of work. A lot of emails on the numbers. The numbers. I think, Mike, as much as we always knew this was going to work. When I say this is going to work, we knew that if you trained agents to sell life insurance, provided them leads, didn't charge them for everything, like under the sun, and allowed them to keep their money, we knew that would work. I mean, that wasn't complicated.
Right.
I think we thought after 6 years we'd be issuing, $220 million a year. I'd probably say yes, I thought that, but I have crazy delusional goals. But I kind of sit back every once in a while and go, man, pretty amazing. And when you look at some of the people, we were going over that. We pulled the leaderboards off so y'all can't see because convention we're very excited about. But some of these numbers, I was just like, we were going through them like head to toe. I was like, I'm like, they did how much in a year? It's funny because some people think they're a company.
Yeah.
And we have people that are individuals that sell more than their entire company, i.e. you're not a company. Like, my company, my IMO, I'd be easy on your IMO. We got individual producers that sell more than your IMO does in a year. We had we have how many Hall of Famers do we have from 2019? You know the total number is at 26, 27 is in that ballpark?
I think it's 25.
25, okay.
Right now.
All right. You adding them up? Oh, you're pretty quick. Don't get distracted. Okay, well, I'll keep going, boys.
25.
25. Look at that. Don't question yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. And we just added Teresa Mero Prendota.
Yep.
Stephanie Cover.
Yep.
We added. Hold on. We added David Allen.
Yes.
All right. We also added.
Two more.
I know. I'm gonna get it. Just give me a second here. Give me a second. We had Zach Carpenter hit it.
Yes.
Okay. And then John Wetmore's group.
Yep.
Help me out. Word associate. Help me out. Give me a little bit. Just a little hint. First initial.
L.
Man, it didn't work out the way I thought it would. Leticia.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
So we had 5 that we just added that made 25. So, And what's crazy is knowing how hard the men and women that hit that, because $400,000 in issue paid business. I know, like when we started the company the first year, it was like we had struggle with people thinking they could submit $5,000 a week.
Right.
And now I think we'll have 100 people hit Hall of Fame next year. Actually, no, I'm sorry. So this 200 hit Hall of Fame next year. Now, that seems crazy, but maybe not. So like we have 25. I don't know how many total members that gives us. We had 25 people that hit it this year. How many others we got that have been in? But congratulations to all of you. You worked hard. You couldn't have gotten there had you not. So you should be very proud of yourselves. And for a lot of you that, I saw John Wetmore. I'll leave that he had posted, somebody posted something. He said, hey, how about this? You hit Hall of Fame next year, or you're going to be, can you be off social media? And the guy was like, I'll take that bet. I'm like, I don't think it was a bet. He was just saying like, come on, bud, like go you get Hall of Fame. So, and I think what I do know, like we're starting this call off today with Dominique. Dominique's interviewing one of the agents he works with.
Yep.
Dominique Rogers now, if you've noticed, is really out there running business, building a team. He used to run business, and he
always be closing.
And he can close, and he loves helping people. Got a crazy good passion for it. Got a good soul when he really just wants people to be protected. So having him back I'll tell you what, I think he's going to put up some crazy numbers this year. And I love it. I mean, he was one of the first people I worked with back in 2008, so I know what kind of numbers to put up back then. And then we have Paul interviewing Danny,
yes,
I believe. And then we also have Frank
DeSena, yeah.
Frank DeSena on. So we have a great group of people today, very diverse group of people today, and really just excited about what the rest of this month looks like rolling into convention and what 2020 looks like. Because again, if you've heard us talk about, for me, and we're not there yet. Like we keep saying the year of, we're not there yet for 2020, right? What is the year of? We haven't now I'm kicking around in my mind, Mike. Like I like the year of the grind only because we're grinding. Yeah. Like I know it's our 6th year, but like I feel like we started yesterday. And people say, how do you stay motivated? I'm like, because we have all these people that deserve the same opportunities everybody else has. I want another 100 people to understand that they, even though they just started today, can go hit Hall of Fame. I want another 100 people to go, I can hit board member. I want another 10,000 people to issue 20 grand a month and do 250 grand a year. I mean, because you can, because they can. And I think that's the thing about our industry, the heartbreaking stories when somebody comes to us. We had a gentleman recently and he was telling the story. He's telling it in a decent sized meeting, but he's literally saying, I was in a financial position that was bad, which made it hard for him to get contracted because of where I worked. And he started, and at first you're like, well, what happened? He started showing us the fees he had to pay. He had to pay a monthly fee. He had to buy a number of convention tickets before he started. He was required to do it before he started. Like $3,000 in tickets. He's like, yeah, does it make sense? I'm like, nah, I think that guy and I would have had a problem.
Yeah.
You know, you need to. Well, I don't need to do anything. I'm an adult, you know. And all the fees that he was paying, he just couldn't keep up, you know. And then I think for us, it's these things that we stand behind. You know, we had a guy join us the other day. It's like, I used to get a bonus. I don't anymore. It's like, huh? Yeah, none of us do. I'm like, what? He said, the company said they weren't making enough money. I'm like, oh, they're making enough money because you got 30 points less comp with them than you did with us. So they're definitely making plenty of money. Believe me, we're in business. Right. How would they not be in business? So just really excited about the opportunity that we have here and the amazing men and women we have that are not only out there protecting, but training. And I'll leave you with this today before I turn over all of our amazing guests. Listen to everything because everybody, you're going to find certain things you're going to go, that for me makes sense. Like for me, whenever I'm listening to somebody train, I'm listening to everything they're saying just because I'm interested and it's respectful. But I'm always trying to figure out, okay, they try that. I might not. I try this over here. But this part of my presentation, like when I was selling a bunch, I'm like, I had no problem selling a bunch. You ought to teach me how to make sure everything stayed in the books. Yeah. So when somebody stumbled in and said, my persistency is X, I'm like, all right, let me try that and that and that and that and that, you know, because I'm writing 20 grand a week and I want everything to stay in the books. And I want to make sure I know what's, you know. So for us, it was just, you know, I understood direct mail leads, but not internet. So like if you're talking about direct mail leads and I was booking 30 out of, 35 people I spoke to, I was probably listening for some nuances, things I could take. But from the internet leads, I was like, please teach me. I'm wide open. I don't know anything about them. So everybody that you're going to hear from today has their strengths and weaknesses, has something to offer. They're phenomenal producers. You're going to hear a lot more come in 2020, especially from a lot of the Hall of Famers we have. So I'm going to turn it over to, we starting with Dominique, right? Yep. And it's all yours, Dom. Thank you guys for tuning in today. Thank you for watching. Have an outstanding weekend and a better week. See you guys.
All right, guys. Thank you for having us on. I have the privilege of being on here with Julie Ann Guerrero out of Pleasant Hill, California, and which is, I'm in San Diego, Carlsbad area. She's about 8 hours north of us, and there's a lot to be said about Julie. If you've met her, if you've seen her on Polo, you'd be like, I'd definitely buy insurance from her. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's no doubt about that. And then you see her work ethic and how much she cares about not only the clients, but she cares about her family and where she wants to see them and where she wants to take them and where she wants to go. And she's only been with us 3 months. And in 3 months has issued paid. And you did about 20 grand your first month, 25 second month, and then just over 10 your third, which is like almost $50,000+ paid volume in 3 months. Have you ever seen cash flow like that in a 90-day period, Julie?
Oh, no, most definitely not.
And with that comes with, you heard that saying, what do they say? More money, more problems. Okay. Yes. Now, when I was growing up, I was like 12, 11 when that song came out. And I was like, no, that don't make sense. What do you mean? Like, more money, the more happy you are. It's like, yeah, but then you have to learn how to manage it. You have to know how it works. You got to, does that make sense? There's pieces in that. So I want to take some time today, Julie, because with high volume, there's things that we have to deal with. It's like, I hear Sean Mike, he always says, from 0 to 10,000, you don't really need any help. Okay. But 15,000 up, there's going to be some things you got to manage. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And I think you've learned and are learning, and in the midst of, and that's one thing I love so much about you. You're so open to it. It's just like, you're like, yeah, just tell me, man, whatever it is I need to do, let me know. And you make the adjustments. So yeah. I want to start off with, In your first 90 days, what have you learned about maximizing your time in the field and also maximizing your time at home, you know, when you're training and things like that? I think you're very good. Like, you never really called me and said, "Hey, Dom, let's sit down and talk about phone script." You know, like we maybe talked about some scenarios that you had, but it wasn't what's the phone script. Like, you did a lot of things on your own with underwriting, with learning the products. Like, you found places and studied them. So can you talk to us about why you did that first off? Okay. And that may seem very obvious, but I don't think it is. Why you did that, and also how you did it. Okay. Let's start there.
Okay, so why I did it, because I wanted to know, first off, what I was selling and how it worked. Like, how did they come up with all these numbers, or how did they come up with the company? And there's a whole lot of carriers that we have, and how come they know right away where to put it, you know, and all that. So it just kind of got to me that, you know, I can't keep on calling people just for this one. You know, sooner or later, I have to learn it. So I kind of moved around in all of the websites that we have, like the FFL New Agent or the FFL Golden State, and yourdomrogers.com, which was really, really helpful and all that. And I kind of found bits and pieces of it, and then just looked at it. I was going, oh, so that's why she said that one. Oh, so that's why it's in this carrier. So I kind of found that one, stumbled in it, and then used it in the home.
And oh, you got it.
Yeah. So, and after that one, I listened to all your training when it comes to the phone script, and I was going like, okay, so I'm going to use this one, so I write it down. And then later on, I would encounter problems with some of it, so I would tweak it a little bit, but not really a whole lot of it. And then sooner or later, the more calls that you do, you kind of find your groove at what works and what doesn't work, and where you want to steer it, or how you want to handle objections, or if you pick your battles sometimes too. So that one.
What is what did you pick up? And what did you pick up, and what do you think is the most important part of the phone? I'd say script, but the approach on the phone.
Okay, so for some people, because before it started off with, I'm from the benefits center, or I'm from this one, and then all of a sudden, some of the clients that I called were saying like, oh, I've seen this one in, you know, in a review of some sort, that it was totally negative. So I was going like, this isn't what that company is, but I don't want other people to think that it was, you know, what I represented. Right. So I just took it away. Or that for some, you know, just like right now, I wouldn't even go with Benefit Center or Mortgage Protection Center. All I do is just, hey, my name is Julie, and I'm the field underwriter assigned to you. In order for me to qualify you, I need to see you personally and all that, and I'm going to be in your area this time. Are you free? Or something like that, you know, just straight to the point. I don't know. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but that's what a phone script is, right?
And you know what? And I think that's with everything. Everything works a little bit, you know, and I think it brings whatever brings confidence is what I think you should do. Okay. Yeah. So if taking senior benefits out brings you, do it all day long. Does that make sense? Yeah. And that's one thing. That's what I love about this company, is that there's not one way to do it.
Yeah.
It's just the way that gets you results.
Yeah.
And it seems like it's working for you. So that's good stuff. So when I say take control on the phone, mm-hmm. What does that mean to you? Okay, it's like, so day one, if I said, hey, Julie, I need you to be very assumptive on the phone, call people up, tell them you're coming over to the house. Okay, when you heard that day one, how did you hear it? And when I say it to you now, what's the differences?
Oh my God, day one, I was so nervous I didn't even want to make a phone call. Right now, like I said, I was going like, hey, I'm going to be in your area serving other families in your area. I got about 10, 15 of them. I'm pretty sure you're going to be there, right? Because we're going to set up this time and all that, and I don't want to waste my time or your time. All the confidence comes back in. But shoot, when it was on day one, oh my God. Remember that time that I called you over there in the car? I was going like, what do I do? What do I say? Oh my God, she already left me a voicemail saying, no, don't come. That was so funny. Yeah, I remember the exact same feeling.
And it changes with now. How did that definition become clearer to you? Like what did you have to do to change that?
Well, there's only so much that you can take out of the negative because of how you kind of deliver what, like if you're not assumptive or if you're backing down or, and the client can sense that one in your voice. So if you are assumptive, they're going like, oh, okay, I got no choice, right? That's what they're going to think. And that's what you want them to think. That way you can get the schedule or you can get the appointment with them. You got to do what you got to do to set the appointment.
It reminds me of what Gary said in Atlanta. He said, it takes what it takes.
Yeah, definitely. It takes what it takes. Because if you keep on doing the same thing over and over again, that's insanity, right? Yeah.
Now,
expecting a different result.
Right. So you paid $50,000+ first 3 months. I know there's people on here thinking, well, she was selling insurance before here, or or she just got it, right? She must have came in here with a bunch of money. What did that look like for you when you started? How did you start buying leads? What could you invest? What did it feel like when you started investing?
Oh God. I didn't have much money, so I actually started off with credit card, just like most of us. So I actually started with credit card, and I was down to my last 500, and I was banking on my other job to actually try to pay the bills that I have, So yeah, it was nerve-wracking. I'm gonna spend my last $500 on leads that I might not get. Or I might not sell. And there's a very high possibility when it comes to that one because I don't know. I'm not certain. I don't even know if I'm going to sell or make money off of it. Yeah. It's very, very hard.
But could you imagine how much harder it would have been without getting the leads?
Oh, yes, most definitely, because you're trying to ring something that is barely there. Can you just imagine a wet towel, and then when you take a little bit at a time, and then when you squeeze all of it out and there's barely nothing there, yes, that's how it feels.
Hey,
so I don't really, yeah.
I've been there. How are you? What I see you're very good at, and I know we kind of hit on this at the beginning, maximizing your time. Well, how are you maximizing your time in the field? So compared to, say, 60 days ago, what's the difference of how your day's rolling now?
Yeah, so 60 days ago, I would have just, if I set about 2-3 appointments and that was it, I would just go home, or maybe I might muster up a little bit of courage in going to door knock, but I would only door knock about 1 or 2 people probably.
Mhm.
So nowadays, I was looking into Road Warrior, and then I'm inputting every single address that I have for leads that, even though they're 6-month-old leads or they're new leads, if I know that I'm going to that area per se. So I'm setting my appointment by areas. So if I go to that area, I'm putting in my addresses for the appointments that I set, but I also put in the addresses for the ones that I can't reach, like the disconnected ones or the ones that that are wrong numbers or something like that. So I do put them into. So if I go to an appointment, or if I have a little bit of time that I think that I can squeeze it in, then I would go to the Road Warrior app and then try to check and see which one is close by. And I do have my leads, the printed out ones, with me all the time. So when I go door knock them, I would show them, hey, this is what you filled out. I'm sorry, but the office and I cannot reach you for some reason, and then that's it. Sometimes I can get people with door knocks and update their phone numbers, like recently, like on December. And sometimes I find out that they moved, and then some of them even call me, even though they moved. So it's really something. Yeah.
What I'm hearing is that you're resolving the leads,
Mm-hmm.
and that's everything. I think it's not about closing; it's about resolving. Because on the way, along the road of resolving, you're going to close up, right?
Yeah.
How many apps do you think are from door knocks a week for you? Or maybe even appointments from door knocks. Maybe, that you did not call them to book the appointment initially.
I've had 5 to 10 people that I've set just because of door knocking.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah. 8, just call it 8, and then just say the average premium is $1,000. It's the extra $8,000. That could have changed a lot. So that's solid stuff, and I like that approach of door knocking, printing things off, letting them know that you couldn't get a hold of them. I like that. Now let's hop into lead flow. Okay, so what is your lead flow? What does that look like? What number are you looking to invest every single week? And if you do know the breakdown of month 1, 2, and 3, let us know how much you invested and what that looked like.
I think you really have to make the most out of set the budget first, because what I did with the first 2 months, I think I went when it came to the lead flow. So I was like a lead junkie at that time. It's like I'm getting some from mortgage, the mailers thing, and then I got the 6-month-old leads, and I got the new leads from Leadrilla or any kind of provider, when it comes to that one. And then I find myself that I even have a batch of leads that I haven't even touched, or 2-3 batches that I haven't even touched and I haven't resolved. And I'm still trying to get to them, actually. So even though I have, I do have different kinds, like the final expense and the mortgage protection. And I'm looking into getting into the Medicare since January 1st, right?
So give me a number. Is it $800 a week, $500 a week? What is it?
So mine is, I try as much as possible to have about 600 probably a week. Yeah. Okay. On top of what I already have.
So 600 a week, so that's 2,400 a month, and that's just let's just call it 2,500. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
To issue pay, I don't know. Let's just times that by 3. So that's 6, 7, 7,500. Right. Yep. And then also 7,500. You around invested in leads, and commissions. Give me a round figure of what it's looked like in commissions for the past 90 days for you.
So commission-wise, in the first 60 days is really good.
Mm-hmm.
And the 90, almost towards the 90 days part, you see the chargebacks and all that. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a whole lot less. And it also depended on the carrier that I put in my clients, because, Transamerica was just switching over their system from November to December, and I was tied up in that one. Unfortunately, I couldn't put them in Americo.
Right.
And it was that one in American Amicable and AIG. So it was just my roll of the dice, I guess.
So you bring up a good point with chargebacks, and this is nothing we want to run away from. It is what it is. But coming off with a strong start, regardless of if it's strong or if you do 20,000 or you do 8, you won't start seeing a big change in your income until about month 3 with chargebacks, because and when I see that, I love your perspective on it. I'd love to hear more. I know we talked about it, but just you're looking to diversify your lead mix. You're looking to change things up, because you're not going to stop the chargebacks. It's not like I got a lot of chargebacks. No, you just had more than you had before because you never had none. So, you know what I mean? So it's like, how do you build that into your business now? So what adjustments are you going to make moving forward, so that they're not it's not a thing? Does that make sense? Like, so what do you think you have to do to make it not a factor for you?
So the good thing about this business is you can actually work your way out of the chargeback. So more activity is most definitely, and just don't let it get you down. Chargeback is a chargeback. A lot of people change their mind. It's fine. Later on words, I would like to set aside a portion of my money just for that chargeback. That way, I know that business is business and everything has a loss. So just set aside some funds just for that.
Yeah. Did you, now looking back, because I remember when it first started happening to me, and I would look back at my appointments, and I could almost replay the appointments. Not all of them. Some of them I was like, really? Like, seriously? But then some of them I was like, yeah. You know what I mean? Like, so, and I think your definition, it's just like when you start booking appointments, right? Like when I started, I had a ton of no-shows, and I was like, what's going on? Like, I booked the appointment, they said they were going to be there, and they're not there. And then as I started dialing more, my definition of an appointment changed, because when they said I might be home, when I started, that was an appointment. Now today, if they say they might be home, I'm going, you will be or you might be. Does that make sense? And in the home, there's different ways to do that as well. I remember I'd be like, hey, well, we're just going to check your eligibility, and whenever it comes back, we're going to, and they'd be like, okay isn't a sell. Does that make sense? And I know you probably look back at some of your appointments and go, you know what? Yeah, because I think sometimes we got to be able to let it go. Does that make sense? Like sometimes we have to be able to just say, you know what? This ain't going to work. Does that mean? And I've had, since I've been back in the field, I'm seeing that. And there's probably a handful of folks that I know that I probably could have, I'm 100% sure I could have took out and got a voided check, but I'm 100% sure they would have called me like the next week and canceled it. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
You know, or they would have called the carrier and not me because they were intimidated or something like that. Does that make sense? And I don't want to be in the house intimidating people. I don't want to make them feel like they got to do something. But I think the more people you see, Julie, the more you'll be able to define that sale. Does that make sense? So I think that's good stuff. So in Julie, in closing, okay, 2020 is upon us. You did 55 grand your first 3 months to finish the last quarter. All right. If you kept at that run rate, you'd finish about 230 in 2020. What is your goal in 2020? And how are you going to hit it?
Hall of Fame, baby. Hall of Fame all the way.
I'm with you. How many appointments do you have to run a week to do that?
Oh, God. 30 to 32. No, 30 to 40.
Okay. Is that doable for you? Have you done that before?
Well, yeah, if you consider I've done 8 appointments in a day.
Okay. So you run four days, 8 a day. Okay. That's strong. I got no doubt that you'll be able to hit it. And you know what? I'm really excited to get out there and do it with you. You know, it's definitely a goal of mine, and I want to do it with. It's not just I want to hit it. I want to hit it with 7, 8, 9 other people. You know, and I'm blessed to have you say that. Hey, I want to do that, and we can hold each other accountable. How about that? You know, so Julie, I appreciate you.
Most definitely.
Oh yeah, I appreciate you. Oh, you know what? There's one more thing. Marco Polo. Okay. The community that we have on there, and if you guys don't know what that is, it's a video chat app, and you can share stories. There's no time limit on it. You can private message people. Can you kind of talk about what that has meant to your business? Because this business is like, I'm in the field. I'm out in the field now, and I know when Marco goes off and I'm driving after a no-show, dude, I smile. You know what I mean? I'm like, I go from pissed off that they just no-showed me to, oh, okay, well, somebody else is doing something good. Like, let me listen to this. You know what I mean? And like, so what does it do for your mind state? What does it do for your skill in the home? You know, so can you close out with the value of Marco Polo?
So Marco Polo for me is very helpful, actually, because even though I don't go through the group sometimes because of tough times personally, or how my day is or anything like that, it is sanity. It's like a free psychologist right there, you know. You know, like you said, this business, especially when you're running from appointment to appointment, is very, very solo. You know, you're all by yourself and everything. You have to protect your mindset in any kind of way. So a whole lot of people doing good, or a whole lot of people actually telling you about their day and all that, makes you feel good, makes you feel like you're not alone. This is not only happening to you, or that some people actually, like my solo people, you know who you are. Yeah, so they help me a ton, a lot. And without them, I'm pretty much secluded and probably going to be depressed of all the chargebacks or whatnot. But no, this is the best business that you can work your way out of the chargeback, and it doesn't have to stay that way. You know,
and you can work your way out of situations, which you have. Okay. Yeah. All right. Julie has done some amazing things in our 9 months here that, you know, she may think, you know, I just kind of did that, and, you know, but, you know, doing what you're doing for your kids, what you're doing for your family, it's big stuff. You know, you being able to bring your daughter out for Thanksgiving, to where I don't know if in October you felt that would happen, you know?
Yeah.
And
I never really thought.
Isn't it?
Not in a million years.
You know, that you make that change. It's like, is it's all worth it, you know? So the changes that you're making, the role model that your kids are able to look at, you know, and say, you know what, I want to do that too. You know, I mean, you took that picture with your daughter and she's hearing you dial the phone, and, you know, I mean, it's just like, that's what it's about. And she's like, what, 13 or something like that?
Yeah, she did.
You go, yeah, she's getting a license. You know, like, all right, let's do it. Let's get her an exam FX right now. So, but I'm pumped up for you. I'm excited to have you on the team. I know when you talk about polo and how this could be lonely, it's like you're in Northern California, and to where we don't have a massive presence, we don't have an office. It's going to happen, right? It's going to be yours, you know?
Yeah.
And but I think your openness to be connected, you coming out to Atlanta for the conference, you coming down to Carlsbad to Dial last month, like that stuff's a big deal. And like everybody doesn't do that, you know, and people go, well, how is she getting off to such a good start? How is she doing? I'm like, well, she does things that you would question doing. Like, you know what I mean? Like they wouldn't, like, I'm in California, I'm just going to go to the one in Vegas. Yeah, but you said, you know what, I'm going to go to the one in Atlanta. And then I'm gonna go to Vegas. Does that make sense? I'm gonna do both. Does that make sense? Yeah. You didn't weigh it. You didn't weigh your options. You were like, you know, I'm gonna go. And you didn't think about, well, when's a good time to come down to Carlsbad? I think we got back from Atlanta, and then the next week you were down here. So I think that's what it takes. So if you guys are watching this, going, you know, what do I gotta do? Just do things that are uncomfortable. She said she spent her last $500.
Yeah.
Like I'm pretty sure that was very uncomfortable. And I think there's somebody watching this holding on to their last 5,000 and they think they're broke, or they're holding on to their last, you know what I mean? And they think they're broke. I'm like, if you only knew how fast it can change. And I think that's the speed that this thing can change is something that we need to empower people and articulate that they can do it. And Julie, you're doing it. So I'm proud of you. Keep doing your thing. I know you're in the field. Help out a ton, and I look forward to talking to you on polo. All right?
Cool.
All right.
Thank
Later.
you.
Thank you guys for having us. Later, guys.
Thank you.
Hey guys, Paul McClain here, and I'm with my buddy Danny Chiramonte, and the series is Get to Know a 20K Producer. And so Danny, over the short period of time, you've developed yourself into a consistent 20K producer. And I know for myself that I'm always trying to, you know, get around people and find the commonalities. Like I think one of the things that's really helped me in this business and really a lot of areas is getting around people that, you know, have traveled the path, that have already kind of gone to where I want to go, and they can show me the way forward. You know, I praise God for Sean Mike and these different people that say, hey, step here, don't step here. And dude, success leaves tracks, you know, like that whole commonalities, you know, the top 20K producers, they have commonalities. And so, and everybody's got such a different background, you know, different occupational background, the way they're raised, their belief level, the way they think, the ethnicity, male, female, height. I mean, everything's different. Mm-hmm. So as we get to kind of know how you've, you know, approached this business and your background, kind of start there, Danny. Like, what was your background prior to Family First Life? What were you doing?
Directly prior to this, I was driving a truck. That's pretty much what I did. 11 hours a day, sitting behind the wheel, you know, just cruising along. Grew a little beard. I wanted to play the part, you know what I mean? So that's pretty much what I did, man. I was a truck driver for a while. Before that, martial arts instructor / kind of like a salesman, signing people up to martial arts schools. But that didn't really. So
when you say truck driver, man, was that like long haul?
Yeah, it was long haul. That was a long haul.
You know, really? 18-wheeler?
18-wheeler long haul.
Because you don't look like the 18-wheeler. There's some people that don't look like an insurance person. Yeah. You don't look like an 18-wheeler kind of guy. You know, you think like 6'4", burly looking dude, you know what I mean? You know,
I don't. I've gone into many truck stops, and girls would come up to me, you know, saying, "You're a truck driver?" I'm like, "Yeah." It didn't feel right, but it was consistent.
Now let me ask you this: so what were you looking for? You know, like when Family First Life got presented to you, mm-hmm. or you know got introduced to you, were you actively looking for something different, or were you kind of just like going through the motions? I'm a truck driver. I'm paying bills. I'm putting food on the table. You know, where were you at when that got presented to you, and what were you looking for? What kind of change, you know, that you wanted to see in your lifestyle, so to speak, when you were driving this truck?
I was just, honestly, I got tired of the just mundane, every day, the same thing. I saw my dad growing up, just paycheck to paycheck, driving a truck, but he always was consistent. He always paid his bills, but he never really had anything extra. He didn't really ever have any time. So I was like, you know what? I mean, this doesn't seem like the best job. I mean, but if I do it, it's going to pay bills. Everybody's going to be taken care of. Things could be consistent. But sitting behind a wheel for 11 hours is not the way to live. So I started really kind of wrapping my brain around it, and that's when I found Eli. He's like, hey, man, you're pretty good at talking to people. Here, let me get you hooked up with Paul. And that's when he gave me your number.
Okay. Yeah. So when you looked at Family First Life, what were you looking for? Like, was it more income, the ability to take care of your family at a different level, to be able to do the things you wanted to do, set up, retirement eventually, being able to kind of have the things you wanted to have? Was it more freedom of time to do things? What kind of I guess gave you that pull? Like, man, this is something that is worth making a change.
Right.
Because sometimes people they're stuck in their lane, man, and they don't really have a desire, awareness to make a difference or make a change. They're like, I've just been doing this and I'm getting by. Like, you didn't do that. Like, what was it that kind of triggered for you? Like, hey, I want this or I want that. I want some changes to be had.
It was probably everything you said, but the main thing, I'm not going to lie. I mean, I want more time for my family. I got 4 kids, that was a big thing. I mean, 3 at the time, but what it was when I sat with you and you looked me dead in the eye, as serious as ever, and you said, Danny, I was like, can you really make good living here, helping people? And you're like, dude, if you don't make $100K a year, there's something like wrong with you. And I kind of laughed. I'm like, nice. And I looked over at you and you just kind of like just gazing dead in my soul. And I was like, oh, he's serious. He's really real. And then that's when I was like, okay, I think, because I know who you are, I believe in you as a person. I watch your track record. I'm like, this dude's serious. And I kind of just, I thought, man, $100K a year? And you're like, you'll do way more than that. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, there's no way. This got to be fake.
Let's talk about that, man. Yeah. What are you doing now? So it's been 5 months.
Oh, man.
So 6 months, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What are you issue paid in the last 6 months, personally?
I'm like maybe 1,000 under that 100K mark.
In 6 months?
Yeah, yes.
So I was like halfway telling the truth. I said at least 100 grand in 12 months.
You lied to me,
yeah, it was a half a year you got there.
No doubt.
So, which is great, man, and that's what this thing's all about. And I love how Sean set it up was for that reason. That at the end of the day, if you're really not making a 6-figure income, it's because you're doing something wrong. Like and it's like either it's work, it's attitude, it's activity. There's something off. But you've been coachable and you've done the work, man. Like I didn't do it for you. I just told you the truth. Like, hey, in 6 months, and the thing is this, Danny, in 12 months, if you were not at a 6-figure, I mean, my conversation was like, man, like, this is just not working out. Like, I don't want you to hurt your family. And because you can struggle in this thing if you're not working, know. Now, what do you think has been some of the things that have led to, 20K a month? What are some of the things that you could point to and say, hey, I would highlight these as big blocks that have led me to success or 20K a month?
It's 100% consistency. Like that's it. Remember the first few weeks that you pay like $18,000. I came on, I told you, this isn't real till it hits my bank account, right? And then bam, it hit my bank, and I sold, helped a couple other families and got another chunk. And I'm like, dude, I don't need to work, man. I just paid like 3 months of my bills plus a whole bunch of play money. I'm out. Yeah. And I disappeared. Remember, I was gone, nowhere to be found. And
ghosting me and everything, dude.
Yeah,
semi-retired after 2 weeks.
That is exactly what happened. Yeah. So because of that, I didn't realize chargebacks were a real thing, and they are. It's just part of the numbers. So during that time, chargebacks hit. My leads I wasn't buying, so I was behind on that. And I went from making 18 grand to being almost out of a business in a matter of a month. Like, it happened. Everybody's, man, you're doing so good. And I'm sitting here, you want me to talk in front of everybody. And I'm like, dude, I'm kind of broke right now. Yeah. I felt unqualified, but it's just because I stopped being consistent. So once I got back on it, I noticed just staying consistent and just doing what I have to do, being here on my dial days and running my appointments. It's been, I'm not worried about it at all anymore.
Yeah, it's pretty freeing and gives you that level of security that, man, if I just show up and go to work, because you just treat it like a job, man. Like, you're here as if the employer says you got to be here. And why would you not? Because the thing is this: if you don't do that, then you end up having to have an employer to tell you what to do if you can't do it for yourself.
Exactly.
And I think that's a big thing, man. Like, I did the same thing. It's that easy temptation. You're used to making so much, and when it becomes so good, you're like, wow, I could just kind of hang out and do what I feel like doing. And it's like, no, you got to keep that big picture in mind. And I know you've developed that bigger picture, that bigger thinking of, hey, this is not just a 1, 2 week, 3 week thing. This is a career where in 4, 5, 6 years, I could be so financially well off that I could do whatever I want to do whenever I want to do it, and I've earned the right to do that, and I've helped a lot of people along the way do the same thing. And so I think that's a big deal, man. I think that's something that to be aware of that and then make those adjustments and what have you. It's a quality of a 20K producer.
Right.
20K producers, a lot of times, man, they were just like everybody, disasters in the beginning, like I was.
Yeah.
Like an absolute disaster. Anything you do wrong, I decided to do wrong. Even though I had people saying, don't do this, I just kind of figured out, hey, I'm going to just, go touch the oven anyways. And so I love that you did that, dude. And, as we look at this 2020s approaching, what is your goal in 2020? What do you see yourself, issue paying? What is your team going to be looking like? What is that? How do you see that?
Well, obviously the goal is grow my team. I want to have a bunch of people. I don't have a number set for my goal yet for how many people I want. I just want to keep reaching out to friends, to family. You don't know how many people that have reached out to me, and it literally has been like, Danny, I've been on my hands and knees praying to God, and then you made this post that you're just killing it financially and helping these families. So that's my goal, is just to keep, showing everybody this is real, this is what I'm doing. It's not a scam, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And I've already done 100,000 in basically 5 months. Like, why can't I do 300 next year?
Absolutely.
So that's where I'm at.
Yeah. Well, I love it, man. And I think that that's the ticket, dude. Just every day, just like do the thing you should be doing. Dialing the phones, booking appointments, reaching out to people. And it's not self-serving. When you make those posts, and I know you, it's intentionally because you want to help people.
Right.
And you know that if they see it, they can all of a sudden say, hey, maybe I can do this thing too.
Right.
I mean, it's just what somebody's looking for, just a little level of belief that, hey, I can also go out and do what Danny's doing. Because why not? Anybody that's out there, they can do this thing. There's no pre-qualifiers that you have to be a 20K producer, right? And as the next person we have doing this, they'll be completely different, but yet they'll still have the same result because they're doing the common things that lead to 20K. So appreciate you, man. Love being on the team with you. I really mean it, man.
Cool.
And cannot be more excited, dude, to see what you're going to do for you and your family. And it's exciting to be a part of it, man. So thank you, man.
Thank you, bro.
Hey guys, Frank DeSena here, FFL Priority Life Gold Standard. Today I'm going to talk to you about how to get to VP and why I think it's so important. But first I want to thank Sean Mike. Thank you for being such a workhorse and paving an incredible path for us. Thank you to John Wetmore, Nick Ayala, Mark Mead, Mike Killamit, Ryan Montalto. The list goes on. Thank you to everyone that's helped me to get to where I am today in this business. So now I'm going to jump in and talk to you about how I got to VP and why. So first things first, I had to make some changes, right? I think we all have to make some changes, but here's the changes I had to make. So I've been in the business about 6 years, and I started with Family First Life 2 years ago. So when I started, I was doing this part-time up until about 6 months in, so you could say that I've been full-time about a year and a half. I didn't start taking the building side of this business seriously until about 6 to 8 months ago. All right, so I want to share with you why it's so important to start hiring day one and treating this like a true business. So what I started to do after reaching out and getting some sound advice was I started treating this like 2 full-time jobs, okay? I spent half the time and half my focus on running and half the time on building, all right? I had to change my mindset, and when I changed my mindset, it changed everything. So what I did was, instead of focusing on going out, protecting families, and selling insurance to put food on the table, what I did was I changed that mindset to going out, protecting families, selling insurance to fund my business, right? So I was just putting it back in the business, which allowed me to obviously provide for my family, but it allowed me to grow my business simultaneously. The next thing I did was I got very passionate about what I was doing, right? I'm going to tell you a little bit about my background. I was in the big box insurance world. I'm not going to name names, but I was on a 50% contract, going out with my manager, splitting the case. So in turn, I was really on a 25% contract. And this was not simplified issue business, so it could take 1 month, 2 months, sometimes even 4, 5, 6 months to get paid on a case. So you could imagine the financial position I was in when I got here. So when I came on board, I knew the opportunity that we had. I also knew that there was a lot of agents out there that were in a very similar situation to mine that did not know that there was an opportunity out there like this. So I just got very passionate about sharing this opportunity with other agents that were in a similar position as myself. But I also got very excited about sharing this opportunity with people that were on fixed incomes or just only made $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month, and it would make their and their family's financial situation that much better by just adding on, even if it was part-time, $2,000, $3,000 until they saw the opportunity to go in full-time. So those were a few things that got me excited, got me started. The next thing was I created accountability for myself. What that means was, if any of you have children, you know, as soon as you have a child, you have eyes on you now, right? So it's time to grow up quick. Same thing in this business. As soon as you hire one agent, what it's going to do, it's going to create accountability for you, and it's going to in turn take your business, your personal practice to the next level, okay? So if you have an agent that comes on board, they want to learn how to write 20K, you better get to 20K quick. They want to learn how to write the 30, 40K, you have to get to 30, 40K quick to be able to tell them how to do it, right? We want to lead from the front. So, and also there's going to be times where you're going to get an agent that is going to be more successful than you, and I'm going to share with you how to not let that hinder you growing an actual business and bringing on new agents if you're not personally where you need to be yet, okay? So, and I'm going to get into that now. There's 2 ways that I focused on growing my business up front, especially when I wasn't where I wanted to be personally financially, and I didn't have all the financial resources to grow some of the ways some of the EVPs, some of the board members are doing right now. So the first thing I did was I tapped into my warm market, okay? So what I would do is before I even sold a policy, I was posting snapshots of the leaderboard on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and I would just put, congratulations team, awesome week, right? And people would see 10,000, 15,000, 30,000 in a week, and people not knowing what the opportunity would message me, call me, text me, hey, was that 20,000 in a month or 20,000 in a week? Obviously we know there's people that are selling 20,000 in a week, so that would entice people and that would strike up conversation. I would also start, what I would do is I actually made a list of 30 people, okay? These are people that I was either very close to or people that I thought that they would be good at this. So the people that I was close to, I reached out and I had a very direct conversation with them, and I said, for example, John, listen, John's a good friend of mine. John, listen, I want to share with you this great opportunity, something I'm getting involved with. I'm looking to build a team. Don't think that you have to come to me to be successful. There's incredible mentors, managers that are going to help both of us get to where we want to be. Come. I want you to come to the office, or I want you to speak to somebody. Let them share with you what it's about, and you can decide if you think this is something that you'd be interested in. And I would also send a couple snapshots of the leaderboard, or just show, hey, look at Jessica just wrote 6K in a day. Those things are going to get people interested, right? At least to have a conversation. The next thing I did is, on that list of people that maybe I wasn't as close to, I would reach out and just say, hey, Susan, listen, I just got involved in a really exciting opportunity. I don't know if this is for you or not, but if you could do me a favor, I'm looking to help the team grow. So if you know anybody that would be interested, please shoot it my way. And I would send her a couple leaderboard snapshots, just maybe a video, Sean, Mike talking about the opportunity. And what that did was it planted a seed in her, right? She wasn't 100%. I didn't say, hey, I think that you need to come over, you need to get on board. I just told her about the opportunity, and I told her, hey, if you know anybody that's interested, please reach back. So now she might be thinking about it, but she's also thinking about other people that might be interested in it as well. And you can ask my team. I've been referred countless people that way, and it's not just about me growing a business, right? I've been in a bad spot, so I'm super passionate about sharing this opportunity, and that's the next. I'm going to get to that next. So that gets into the why of why I think it's important to get to VP and get there quickly. Now that I've accomplished that and I'm still growing, looking back, I wish I would have started day one, and I wish I would have started. My focus would have been 100% the way it is now. So one of the whys is you develop new skills, right? You have to develop some leadership qualities, some leadership traits, communication, public speaking, like I'm doing right now. It also is going to help you get uncomfortable, right? We don't grow unless we stretch, right? You work out, you go to the gym, you break down your muscles, right? You get uncomfortable, you get sore, but that's where you're growing, right? So we want to get uncomfortable. Obviously, this thing, maybe it's not obvious, but for me, once I started building and helping other people get to a better financial situation, it started getting exciting for me, right? It wasn't just about me going, selling, and helping families in a better financial situation, but it got exciting because I knew not only was I protecting families, but I was helping agents and their family change their future trajectory, right? Financially. Also, think about this. If you are that agent that's like, you know what, I just want to go out and help families, that's what I'm passionate about. Think about this for a second. If you go out and you help 8 families on average a week, okay? Imagine if you hire 20 agents, okay, and they all did the same thing. That's now 160 families protected, okay? That's 640 families protected a month because you weren't selfish. You went out and you shared this opportunity. So something to think about if you're one of those people that were kind of like me, where you just wanted to focus on being a professional insurance agent, that's fine. If you want to sell insurance for the rest of your life, there's nothing wrong with that, right? I'm always going to be out in the field to some extent. I really enjoy doing it, especially on the retirement planning side. I really enjoy doing that. But to get to my next point, what happens if you get sick, God forbid? We're in the God forbid business, right? But we don't talk about this with our own agents. What if you got sick? What if you couldn't work for 3 months, 6 months, a year, and it's only you? You're not going to be in a good position. You're going to be in a bad spot. But if you have 20, 50, 100 agents, right, and you poured into these people, and you're getting to a bad position, that all the help that you made and you created for them, imagine if the person that got you to where you are right now wasn't able to work, right? You would do whatever you can to help them. So if you have 20, 50, 100 agents, you get sick and you can't work, you have income coming in, and you have a whole team of people that generally care about you because you generally cared about them. So something to think about, right? Also, to get to my last point, I know it sounds cliche, I know it's cheesy, you hear the time is now, right? But you hear, my agents will tell you, my team will tell you all the time, I am drilling it into everybody's heads to get them to understand that this train is moving so fast right now. And people that are getting on board now, right, they don't even realize, we don't even realize what the Andrew Taylors, the Mark Meads, the John Wetmores, the Mike Kilmans, the Sean Mikes, the path that they've already paved for us, right? They took nothing and created what we have now, right? So we just have to go all in and really execute on the opportunity that we have, because with the partnership that Family First Life has made and Sean Mike has been able to create, we are now true owners, right? We're true owners. So that gives us a lot of opportunities once we build something, where if you're with any other insurance agency or IMO that I know of, you can build however however much you want to build and grow to whatever trajectory you can grow, but it's never yours, right? It's never really yours no matter what they say. Here at Family First Life, it's yours. So guys, I hope that got you thinking about the importance of why to become a VP, why to continually get to EVP, board member, et cetera, because there's so much opportunity, not only for your personal financial situation, but this gives us so much opportunity to help people at an extremely high level, okay? So I hope this got you fired up and as excited as I am. And please, just like I've reached out to so many people, don't be afraid to reach out to me. I'd love to help in any way.